to Maypole Farm. The thumbnail has probably given away the main job we will be doing today. Quite a longer video. Harvesting videos always seem to end up long videos for me. Not sure why. But first job is to get these bales unloaded. Yeah, I did an interesting job stacking these. Clearly shows my manual stacking skills. Annoyingly, a bunch of them are unwrapped. That came from me trying to manually strap the bales, and it's the same key to unwrap as it is to strap. So yeah, those will be going straight in to the feed trough for some of the cows, because they'll look annoying otherwise and it'll bug me. So the other thing that I've done is I've added in, I don't know if I did it for the last video, I've added in the rounder round wrapped rounder bales from Ola, because it's really cool, and it was about time that I actually added it in. Yeah, it's a really nice mod. I kind of like that the bales look rounder because they're rounder. It's funny, we had a farming agency team meeting last week, and that name is not Ola's doing. That is Giant's doing. So yeah, I think he wanted to call it rounder wrapped bales, but nope. Now we have to say round 15 times. Yes. Anyway, you might have noticed there I knocked some bales off the back. I did not do a great job of unloading this trailer. It's not really wide enough for 2 stacks of 150 centimeter bales. So in the future we might need to get a bigger bale trailer. I'm not sure many are wide enough to take the double width 150 centimeter bales, so, or a double width of, or 2 across. It's been a long day. It's Sunday still for me. It's DLC day for you. Are you excited? In fact, you probably have been playing it already if the download and release went okay. I don't know. I'm still in the past, so yeah. So it's been quite a long day. As I said in yesterday's video, about 4 or 5 hours of driving, just to get across to Bristol, which is where I am at the moment with work. Here for, really actually here for a day, but if you follow the news and my occasional rants on Discord, we have a lot of protesters in the UK at the moment, and they are blocking the one of the major motorways in the country. They blocked it 4 days out of 5 last week, during rush hour, and I can't risk that and needing to get to a meeting, so I travelled over the night before. Yay, protests. And I need to be somewhere else on Tuesday, and so I'm staying here another night, so 2 nights away from home, which kind of sucks, because yeah, it's kind of nice to be at home. So anyway, that's the bales stacked. It is the next morning now, and I'm going to put some hay in for the cows. I can't remember if I did the indirect grazing for them. I obviously gave them a bunch of silage separately as well. So the feed's a little bit unbalanced at the moment because the indirect grazing does everything except hay. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We have a lot of hay bales now from those hay contracts, and probably going to wait until August to do second cut. So we'll do second cut in August for probably hay. See how things look, basically, as to whether we do hay or silage. That's the cows looking pretty good. 27 and 21 months old, so not too long until we'll start getting milk out of the other cows, which will be cool. Yeah, I'm not sure whether if we do hay we're going to need to start a second stack. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Next job is to sell the milk, and we're going to test out to see if auto drive is going to work. Once we get this second cow shed producing milk, we are going to be pretty good for cash. At the moment we're pretty much covering I think maybe more than. Excuse me, sorry about that. I'll mute that out. I coughed. You hopefully didn't hear the cough. Yeah, I think we're covering more than the value of the workers' wages now. So the contracts that we do are actually profit, which is awesome. I've also got a half decent amount of money at the moment as well. So looking at some upgrades in the future maybe. But this at the moment is auto drive. And as you can see, it failed. So what I need to do, and I spoke about this in the previous video, is extend out that last waypoint. So I'm just going to grab it and move it. I think it's I can't remember which mouse button it is to move the points with auto drive. But yeah, just grabbed it and moved it, and that put the tractor far enough round the corner that it straightened the trailer out. And there we go. No, I actually had it set to drive to, not to deliver. So there we go. Complete auto drive noob at the moment. And I actually didn't see how much we made from, I guess it's about £6 actually. So yeah, it's more than covering the workers' wages for a day. In fact, it's pretty much exactly the same, which is cool, because once the second cowshed comes online, we will be making money every day. Yeah, I had the whole time that my laptop was with PC Specialist, I pretty much didn't use auto drive, or very sparingly. So yeah, I'm getting back to grips with it. It's proving to be really useful on here as I build up the auto drive network, because with all the contracts and stuff, we are using a lot more of the map. So Attingham is not so bad, because I'm generally just staying around the farm, doing stuff around the farm. So yeah, not really a problem on there. So I do quite a bit of feeding in this video. Basically, there wasn't a whole lot going on in June once we finished the contracts in the last video. So I'm going to get the mower washed and put away. I should probably have repaired it. I don't think I do, but we desperately need some fuel in the Fiat Agri as well. Something else that I've spoken about before with this save, I mentioned I was having issues, and I think, I can't remember if it's just the Fiat 1300 or if it's the Fiat Agri as well, with the tractors not moving. And I said I thought I'd fixed it. I got rid of a mod that was producing, we are going to repair it, cool. I got rid of a mod that was producing a Lua error, and I didn't have a reoccurrence of it until just after I finished filming this video, when I was doing some prep for the next one. And the Fiat was really struggling, so I think next video we are going to see the Ursus that Smock Farmer recommended appearing. I'd forgotten that the Fiat 1300 was on lease, so we're not going to really lose anything by returning it, apart from the fact it was intended to be leased to own. But yeah, I think we're going to have a look at testing out the Ursus, so that will be fun in the next video. So next game day, the grass state will progress, so really want to try and use as much of what we've got left in the max harvest state as possible. So we're going to feed the cows again, and then I think I feed them at the end of the day as well. I don't think I show that, but I think I did another little bit just to get as much off as possible. So we're not wasting a growth state, basically. And then again, next time it's going to be a bit less efficient, because we're going to be mowing some stuff in growth state, or in harvest state 1 rather than 2, so we get a bit less. But this is working really well for me. The zero grazing, thank you whoever reminded me of that. It's making keeping the cows fed over the summer much easier. Saving some time with the loader, which is all good, and saving us some cash as well, because we're not having to buy the grain mix. I think probably this winter we should be good. We've got actually I need to look at the maths as to whether, because some of the pricing's changed with the update to Maize Plus, whether it's still best to sell the grain and buy grain mix, or whether it's best to make our own. So we have oats and I think it's wheat in the other field. So my plan, and you'll see that later on in this video, in fact, is to pick up as many harvesting contracts as I can do. And I'll be making use of the 2 workers that we have, obviously, for that as well. And getting the wheat, barley and oats that we need. I could really do with a silo on here now. A small, cheap grain silo would be really cool. So if you've got any recommendations for that, stick them below. Would be much appreciated. I did see the Frontier silo released on Mod Hub, and I don't really like the aesthetic of that. So yeah, need to go and have a look and see what it's about. You know, a small 2-3 bin silo would be really cool. I'm going to do some straw. There has been a bit of an incident with some of the hay bales, which is rather annoying. You'll see that again later, they actually fall through the back of the shed. It seems like the back of the shed doesn't have a collision for bales, which is awesome when you want to stack bales in it. Yeah, that's a bit annoying. I haven't gone to collect them yet, but there's 2 bales around the back of that shed that have fallen through the wall. So a bit like the fence on Attingham and the cows getting through that, we now have bales falling through the back of the shed. So yeah, gonna have to look at that. Maybe. I really know nothing about adding collisions to things. But it would make life much easier if the bales didn't fall through the back of the shed. So we'll see. My short-term plan with storing grain is to tip it on the floor in the crop shed still, but you know, by the time I've got 3 grains and the potatoes and the sugar beets, that might be a bit tough. So might have to move the sugar beets out, and we'll see. So strawing up the cows now, and I think we need a weight on the back of the little Ursus. So this is, I think, the first time I've used the front loader on here. Was one of the reasons I wanted a second loader tractor, because we're using the straw blower that goes on the front loader, and it was always a bit of a pain to get that loaded up. This seems to work much better, so we'll see in a moment. We're just going to use store deliveries to get a weight delivered to the farm. I have to say, using store deliveries on here makes life so... I'm using on Atom as well. It makes life so much easier. I think on here it's like 3 or 4 minute drive to the store, and you know, that's 8 minutes of, you know, if I'm trying to get a video done and I'm short of time, it's 8 minutes of wasted time for the cost of me paying to have it delivered. If I'm not in a rush, I will sometimes still drive to the store. You will have seen in the previous, I think it was in the previous video, I drove to the store to get the stuff done to the Ursus and picked up the front loader. It really depends on, for me, how much time I have to get a video done. Sometimes I'm short of time, so having store deliveries helps. And, you know, realistically, you're probably not going to drive a tractor that does 16 miles an hour around the roads in the UK to go to the shop to pick up a weight for it. Probably going to get the shop to deliver it, I think. So yeah, that's what we did, and now we're going to put a bale of straw in our straw blower and see how it goes with it all attached, because obviously before I was detaching the straw blower includes a bale spike, so I was detaching that and using that to put the bale in, so the straw blower was just sat on the floor. This seems to have worked much better. I think I end up splitting the bale between the 2 sheds because they don't need that much, but I want to keep them topped up. What I haven't done yet, and I keep talking about it on most of my saves, is increasing the amount of straw that cows use, so that I have to do this a bit more often, because we still have most of last year's straw left. And yeah, so another test of auto drive. So this is using the corrected course and using deliver as the mode, so I shouldn't have to intervene. This should all work. So hit the turn point, or the reverse point, backing up really nicely. Got its hazard lights on, interesting. That's kind of cool. And hits the trigger and starts unloading. And we had about 8,000 litres of milk there, which is pretty nice. So, I'm not sure what we end up on. It looks like we've covered the cost of the wages and the new weight. Yeah, I mean, that's what, 5,500. So it's, the workers are 6. Okay, so not quite, but you know, we're making decent money out of the milk now, making 13,500, 14,000 nearly a month. So that's pretty good. All right, into July, the oats are ready, so we're going to lease a combine because can't afford to buy one really, and we're going to lease a Deutz combine because I like Deutz and I don't think I've ever used one of their combines. So the Starliner 40, 45, I think it was around in the early 90s, which is where we are at the moment. So we're 80s and early 90s, so that's perfect. This is a modded version. I'm not sure how different it is to the base game one. That's a similar model and era, but I went with the modded one. I think this the base game version was the starter combine on all of the maps, and so a bunch of people probably used this a lot. I never did the base game maps and the easy mode start that that was like 75% of people did the I'm on Elm Creek, look, I've got this combine and this tractor that everyone else had. So yeah, I did something completely different on Obela when I did my survival thing with the logging and stuff. How are you enjoying your logging today? Hope DLC release day is going well. I won't be downloading it until a few hours after this releases when I eventually get home, and hopefully that means that the rush on the servers is better. You know, most people will have downloaded it already, so it will be good there. But yeah. I'm not going to get to look at it until Tuesday evening. I'm, at the moment, not planning to do any videos on the Platinum DLC. That might change if something really gets my attention. But, again, everyone is going to be doing videos on the Platinum DLC. FSG already has a load of really good ones over the weekend from his early release stuff. So, yeah. The only thing I will say, and I need to be better at doing it, is if you do want to buy it, use code Disturbed, because you'll help me out. Eventually, if enough of you use it, then I'll get to preview it. And although the Platinum DLC doesn't excite me for previewing, future DLCs might be more what I enjoy. And the other benefit is, as part of the farming agency, I can test things like Maize Plus with it in advance. Paul does that anyway, but there's only so much that one person can do. And within the farming agency, we have a lot of script modders and stuff. So if I get an early copy, I can test all of their mods with it, and if there are issues, get them log files and stuff, and they can maybe start to prep updates for it. So yeah, if you want to help out with stuff like that, then when you buy your DLCs or your Season 2 Season Pass, I'm assuming there's going to be one of those, use code Disturbed. I think I have it in the description below. So I've picked up 3 harvesting contracts. They are all fields that are right next to our farm, which is really cool. One of them is an oat harvesting contract. And what I've decided to do, because I think the fields are, I think the yield I'm going to get off of this field is similar to the amount we have to deliver for the contract field. Rather than tipping the oats on the floor at this point, particularly with the thought of wanting to get a silo maybe, I am going to harvest these oats and deliver them against the contract that we have, and then when I do the contract, I will store those oats, and hopefully by then I will have sorted out a silo. Ignore that I am wrecking the leased header trailer and header. It's fine. Yeah, so that's kind of my thought. This video we're going to get the harvest done. Next video, I am going to windrow the straw and get that baled, and probably stick the combine on a worker to get the other fields harvested, and we might do a bit of auto drive because most of the crop will be going to sell points, so that will probably be a really good idea. And I might have a silo by then. I really think I should get a silo. think that's really going to, if we're going to be doing a lot of harvesting contracts, having the silo is going to help. Yes, I know some of you realism types will say, well, if it's a silo with 1 or 2 bins, you can only put 1 or 2 crops in it. Yeah, it's not how I work. Actually, it doesn't fit in the farm. I was just thinking about the Alien Gym one that we used on Western Wilds, but it doesn't fit in the style of farm. But that would have been perfect. One of the silos from Attingham would fit really well. Yeah, I'm going to have a look on ModHub, I really am. I've not looked at silos, so there might be perfectly good silos. You might be shouting at your phones or tablets or whatever. So yeah, I'll have a look between videos. So I'm just doing a bit of a headland here. I thought because everything was quite snug, it made sense. The range is a reasonable distance off. It made sense to just back up and do another headland. We're going to have to do quite a few to get room to turn around with this tiny header. I have my eye in the future, because I have a crystal ball, on a case combine. There's a case combine on ModHub which is from the 90s. It's from the late 90s. So once we get into year 3 on here, we're coming up to the end of year 1, I'm going to have a look at that. It's, I think it's like the one I used on Oak Hill on FS19. And yeah, I think it would be really nice. I want to try and mix the brands up a bit on here. Got a lot of fear, thinking of resolving that, as I mentioned earlier. So yeah, I think, you know, I guess a lot of farmers tend to be relatively brand loyal for, you know, I get either because the local dealer only specialises in one brand, and so you buy from the local dealer, or you know your dad always had whatever, or you know, that kind of thing. But I want to try and use some different stuff. I am really guilty of getting stuck in using the same tractors all the time, and I'm going to try and change that. So I had taken the Girovet, not sure how you say it, out, because I thought that was one of the causes of the issue I was having with the tractors not moving. It's clearly not, so I've added that back in. Vanelli and Marie, thank you for the cool information on that. That was apparently originally something that was built for towing missiles around in Russia. Kind of cool. Maybe not at the moment. Maybe kind of topical. Anyway, it's a really cool tractor. I really like it. I'm going to say thank you to the patrons. Thank you, Jay, and all the other patrons and all the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. I have implemented the change that I mentioned I was going to do with farm owners and workers and stuff, so you'll start to see that in future videos. So patrons and higher tier YouTube channel members are NPC farm owners, and the normal YouTube channel members are now the workers, because basically there are too many of you, which is never a problem I thought I would have, but yeah, I had to do that. So just opening up this edge of the field so that I can turn around. This is another way of getting some space to turn. This was on, was it FS UK that the modding website that appeared for a while and then disappeared, and they had some blog sections on realistic farming, which I assume were written by farmers, but this was one of the ways that they spoke about opening up fields. So yeah, giving it a try. I think it's the way Courseplay does tight turns as well. So yeah, just gave us room to turn, which is kind of useful. The rest of this video is pretty much just harvesting, if I'm honest. So we're just going to ramble away for a bit. I have a couple of tutorials coming up. So the immersion video did really well in the adding animals to farms. So later in the week there'll be one on adding vehicles to the farms. I did it one way on here. We haven't actually been to that farm since, and I'm going to use this save to do the tutorial because that means I get another populated farm. But I'm going to do it a slightly different way. I'm going to show you a couple of ways of doing it actually. one that you can do all in game with a couple of mods, and one that needs a bit of XML editing. And yeah, I'll show you a couple of ways. It's different to how I did it for this the first time, but you know, I've had time to ponder. In fact, it was pondering in the car driving over here today that I thought that would be a different way of doing it. So the combine is full from the headlands, and we are going to sort out some auto drive karting. Yes, this field was so small it really wasn't worth the time to sort, but I'm really rusty with not Courseplay, auto drive, so it would be nice to get back to it. I think Courseplay now has a combine online mode as well. I need to have a look at that actually as well, because I sometimes struggle with the auto drive one. But we're just creating a little two-way loop into the field, and we're going to create a waypoint for the field, and then we're just going to join the two-way loop back up to the two-way track. A lot of the tracks on here are auto drivers done as two-way, which makes a lot of sense to me. So most of these are the auto-generated ones that auto drive does off of the worker routes. So it shows the Cavalier actually put a lot of time into building the worker route network on here, which is really cool. Sometimes modded maps don't have that, I guess, but it's really good. It's really made it much easier to make an auto drive network. Some of them don't always link when it's a two-way going to roads that have got one-way courses on. They don't link up, but that's a little bit of work. Pretty easy. So yeah, just getting that done, and then we're going to go and manually empty the combine at this point. I'll kick auto drive in afterwards. I just wanted to get it set up. It's also quite handy for bringing over the windrower and the baler and stuff. So yeah, I am going to windrow the straw because this combine's header is so narrow that I think it's worth windrowing. I think we will definitely be in my minimum requirement, which is we need to get at least 2. I think actually we're probably going to get 2.5 to 3 with some of these swaths, with the windrower, so we're definitely going to be saving time on the baler. I'm probably going to run the windrower on Courseplay, which gives me the option then of baling on Courseplay if I'm busy in the combine or karting or stacking bales or whatever. So yeah, do have the straw from missions mod on here. I'm probably not going to take it off of all of the missions because we have a lot of straw. So yeah, might do the first field, the rest will probably just chop. Yeah, unless I'm really going to massively increase the amount of straw that the cows use, and then I might regret that. But for now, I think we're probably going to take it off of our fields and the maybe the first contract field. We'll see how it goes. What's quite nice as well is with harvesting contracts cropping up and some fields being harvested by the NPCs, we're getting some other contracts as well. So there's some cultivating and some ploughing contracts coming up, which actually got me thinking with the tractor swap that at some point we're going to want a big fieldwork tractor. I've got a couple of options on here. I've got the Traction King that we've been using for contracts, a really nice tractor actually. I'm really tempted by that. I've got one of Sid Modding's older John Deeres. Again, really, Sid Modding is going to be pretty good, isn't it? And the other one is the Caravet. So yeah, there are some options there for big tractors in the future. I'm not sure of the year. When I was browsing combines, the twin screw was there, and that's kind of tempting. Maybe I think it might be brutally expensive, but as a future combine, that might be fun. But I can't remember the year of the twin screw, so we'll see. But actually, checking the yield map with precision farming, we're getting a pretty good yield off of here, considering this is a field that we brought with the crop in it and we didn't do anything to it. I'm pretty happy with that as a yield. We're in the green, so we're probably 100%-ish. I didn't actually check, but yeah, pretty happy with that. We get a half decent amount of oats off of here actually. Was a good purchase, I think. Probably, maybe. These are going to become pastures. because we need more grass. Yeah. I think we do. Maybe we don't. Um, maybe we don't because we're gonna, yeah. Unless we start to expand the number of cows, and we're gonna get calves soon. So, and if we keep those, yeah, maybe we do. Maybe we do. What I can't remember. One of you must have been in the situation. So if I keep the first set of calves, that's basically going to fill. So I'm just trying to call auto drive here. It sort of goes okay, but I turn, which screws auto drive up. Yeah, if you've got an animal enclosure and it's full, and your animals have calves, or are due to calve, or there isn't space for them to calve, do you still get the productivity and just lose the animals? Because that wouldn't bother me on here, I don't think, at the moment. As long, because we couldn't keep them because we don't have space. So as long as I was still getting the milk and everything else out, I wouldn't be worried. If the enclosure being full stopped production, then I would be worried. So yeah, if you've been through that, then comment below, because that'd be kind of useful to know. If no one's sure, I'll test it at some point anyway. But yeah, it would be cool to know. So I've just massively slowed the combine down to try and get auto drive to catch up with me. I'm really keen to try the Courseplay combine unload. I think it's a fairly recent addition, and if it's better than auto drive, that would be good. I think auto drive works better when you've got longer runs and bigger kit. Maybe not bigger kit, longer runs. It takes auto drive a while to work out how to get where it needs to be and then drive there. But you need to give it time to do that, which I'm trying to do. I then make the mistake again of trying to start the combine before it's emptied. I should have just waited and been patient. But no, I was impatient and I cracked on, and the tractor decides to do a little loop, which is a bit annoying. But we've only got a couple of rows left, so I think we just crack on and get it done and empty into the trailer when we're finished. It'll be fine. We're not going to get that much more off of this field. So I think I might leave the auger out to see if auto drive does catch up with us, but yeah. You can see we've got quite a lot of straw swaths, which is why I'm talking about windrowing it. I'm pretty sure that the windrower will cover 3 of a lot of these swaths. Particularly not using GPS, I'm not always getting the full header width, so yeah, they're pretty close together. If I'd used Courseplay to run the combine, I might have just stuck the baler on Courseplay, but I didn't, so I could manually bale it, but my intent is to windrow it, so yeah. I think that makes sense. With such small swaths close together. And it'll tidy up that mistake I just made because I couldn't be bothered to stop. Or I forgot to stop. Which was the first one in a while, so yeah. So just going to try and get auto drive to come alongside now, because we can just stop at the top and unload. And then, as I said, I'm going to go and deliver this against the oat harvesting contract that we have waiting. So the difference is about 2,000 litres of, we're about 2,000 litres shy of what we need, according to better contracts. So what I'm going to do is deliver what we get off of here, and then we'll start up the harvesting contract next time and quickly go complete delivery, and then the rest is ours. To put in a silo, maybe, if we have a silo. Not sure where I would put one, because I've got an idea where I want to put a bunker silo for the silage, but not where I want to put one for storing crops. It might be that we just need to move the root crops out of the shed and dump those, all of them, on the ground, because we're not growing any root crops this year, so that's our winter feed, although I'm sure I can pick up the other crop harvesting contract. There were loads last winter, so I'd be amazed if there aren't a few knocking about, which will give us, some more. So yeah, just looking in the contracts now, and it is field 14, and we are going to the cereal factory. Here we need 12,800 litres. We've got 11,000, I think. Yeah, pretty much spot on 11,000. So internal auto drive off, and I'm going to head off to the cereal factory. I take a really roundabout route to do it. But along the way, I did some auto drive setup, so that's a plus. Slowly, as I've said before, I don't sit and build a big auto drive network and then play. I build it as I play. And what I thought was there was a route through. I thought there was a route through the farm just up here by field 7 and 8. There wasn't, so I drove around half the map. But I did sort out a few junctions where auto drive hadn't automatically connected up the two-way tracks and the one-way tracks. So yeah, there's benefit there. So we do have a contract on field 8 next to us. So that's a nice big field, so that's going to be pretty cool. And here we are. So we're going to do a bit of auto drive setup now to get the auto drive set for the cereal factory and the grain mill. That seems like a good idea. We're up here quite a lot. I had forgotten that I had a generic auto drive point at the entrance, which I was using to get up here for the grain silo. That would have meant I could have just let auto drive come up here and then done this bit. But anyway, so we completed a few junctions. And yeah, I'm just going to link a little loop. Basically, I'm going to loop through the trigger for the cereal factory and then through the trigger for the grain mill, so that in future, if we need to deliver to either of these, particularly on contract, we can just send the trailer up here. And that means maybe I can be in the combine more or be baling or whatever. I want to try and have everything busy, particularly once we get into more harvesting contracts. But just a one-way track, create a new target. I always go through the trigger a little bit because auto drive will stop when it gets to the trigger if it's within a certain distance of the waypoint anyway. So how I do it, you may do it differently. And then I'm just going to pull forward once this has all tipped. I think I might have it on the grain door still. I mean, it's tipping quite slowly because I think I slowed down the tip from the grain door to make it more precise to feed grain mix. But that was a bit silly of me. Oh well. So we're 10% complete on the harvesting contract before the combine has even turned the turner once. So yeah, 84% of the transported, so we might be okay actually. Yeah, I'm just going to go over this, and that should work for a trigger. So I'm just going to finish this off. We've now got the grain mill done, and we're just going to link that back in to the rest of the route, and then I'm going to say thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button. Don't smash it. If you smash it, you have to buy me a coffee. Comments, questions or suggestions below, and if you're new to the channel, think about subscribing and turn on notifications. And if you're subscribed, check you have notifications turned on, because only about 10% of people do. So yeah, I will see you next time on Maypole Farm.